Hey guys, welcome back. Today, instead of talking about model train reviews and model train products and improvements on the layout and how-tos, I want to talk to you about a serious issue that's plaguing the Railfan and modeling community. Now, just the other day I was cleaning up my layout and getting things all sorted out, and when I do, I kind of let my mind wander. And I started thinking about the recent news that an NFL player was bullied in a locker room. And I was sitting there thinking this huge linebacker was bullied by other teammates, and it just blew my mind. And then a few days later I noticed on Facebook one of my YouTube fans had been bullied themselves and was talking about how it's a huge problem. So I decided I'm going to convey my thoughts on that to you guys. There's a lot of things wrong with bullying and they cause a lot of problems, but before I go into them, I want to give you a little quick background on my perception of bullying and how I have a pretty good grasp on the bullying situation. You see, I was both a popular kid and a non-popular kid in school. I grew up in a town that was really small-minded with a real small-minded school, so all it took to be popular was a little social aptitude and some clothes. Well, instead of wearing some of the cheap clothes that I wore the first few years, I started wearing the more expensive clothes. One summer I spent about $1,200 as a young teenager on clothes. And very quickly, with that little bit of social aptitude and the new clothes, which was Abercrombie and Nike Air Max and Lucky Jeans, I was able to get into the in crowd. But I soon realized that being in the in crowd was not as cool on the inside as it looked on the outside. You see, the in crowd got me in a lot of trouble, or gave the potential to get me in a lot of trouble. Luckily, I didn't get into a lot of trouble, but they were into alcohol and drugs, and I was not in that scene. And I will be honest and tell you that I never did alcohol and drugs in high school or ever, and I'm proud of that fact. So the thing is, yes, I've drunk a few alcoholic drinks and things, but in high school I did not underage drink and I did not do any drugs, and I still have never used a drug to this day unless it was a prescription medication that was prescribed to me for some use. Anyhow, long story short, being a cool kid was not all it was coughed up to be. And when I was not a cool kid, I got joked on occasionally. I didn't get straight up bullied, because I've always been kind of a tall guy. I was a little scrawnier and I grew into my height and stature, but I never was outright bullied, but I was bothered and I was joked on. And when I was in the cool kids club, when that thing happened with others, when others were bullied, I didn't feel it was right, and I kind of stepped aside. So I have a unique perspective about bullying. I see it from both sides. I've seen it from both sides. And I almost understand when somebody doesn't do rail fanning and doesn't do model railroading, and they bully somebody, or they joke on somebody because they don't understand it. But what I really don't understand and don't accept is when rail fans bully each other, or modelers bully each other, or anybody in those two realms bully each other. And I'll tell you why. The first time I heard about the inner Railfan bullying, I thought to myself this: no filters attached. I thought, you're all dorks. Why are you bullying each other? You're all dorks. Dorks are bullying dorks? Is that what's going on now? Because think about it, even outside of the Railfan community, we're all dorks. We sing in the shower, some of us cover it up better than others. I'm into Ghostbusters, and I'm a tall guy that intimidates a lot of folks just walking around. But I'm into Ghostbusters, so I'm a little dorky. Everybody's a little dorky in their own way, in or out of the Railfan community, in or out of the modeling community. And think about the people that are always talking about, well, it's really weird that you play with trains when you're 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years old, and they'll sit there and play video games all day, or go and play Dungeons and Dragons, or make alternate universes with their somebody else online, all kinds of stuff. So people are all dorks, just some cover it up better than others. So I hear about this Railfan on Railfan bullying, and I'm like, what are dorks doing bullying dorks? First of all, who should understand Railfans any better than Railfans? Who should understand modelers any better than modelers? We should all understand each other, especially more than the quote-unquote outsiders. So why is there bullying going on? And the only thing I can figure, because I've taken some psychology classes, I didn't get my degree in psychology, but I've had an interest in it. I think that it's kind of a pecking order. Somebody wants to be a little cooler than somebody else in the not cool world that we're in with trains and rail fanning. So those people really have it coming to them. And I know I have a lot of viewers, so I'm just going to say the chances that there's a bully watching my video could be pretty high. So I will say this, if bullies, or to the bullies, you need to stop, and I'll tell you why. First of all, Congress is picking up on it. The judicial system, the courts are picking up on it. Lawyers are picking up on it. As a very esteemed UP engineer out of Illinois, recently said on his Facebook page, they are holding people accountable now. There are lawsuits being filed for damages. Bullying is a damaging thing. It's causing suicides, it's causing school shootings, and they're starting to be held accountable by all those entities that I just mentioned. So you want to think to yourself, if you're a bully, before you bully somebody, think, is it worth the little laugh? Is it worth the little joke? Is it worth feeling good for about 3 seconds, 3 or 4 times a week to make fun and belittle somebody? Because I'll tell you one thing, I've seen on Facebook where they've got these mimes of people and they've got these comments and telling, just horrible words that I don't use as an active duty military person. They're on Facebook. Guess what? Somebody hurts themselves or hurts others, that's going to be used as evidence against you. Facebook is being used as evidence more. Bullying is more and more prevalent to be prosecuted against. People are hurting themselves and others. It will not be tolerated. So think to yourself before you create one of those mimes or make one of those comments, is it worth the rest of my life in prison? Is it worth dampering my potential to be somebody just to make a joke? And when you're making those little mimes and jokes about people, think to yourself, I'm typing up evidence right now in a murder trial. Or I'm typing up evidence right now in a trial against me for slander or whatever. Trust me, it's gaining momentum. If you're a bully, you need to stop because the statistics are against you. Some of the statistics I read online say that bullies have some sort of psychological problem if they can't stop being bullies. And they are more likely to grow up and be nobodies than anybody else. Like I said, I grew up in both the popular kids pool and the unpopular kids pool. I had girls that wouldn't give me the time of day, whether I was popular or not popular. On my last trip home, I went to Target near my hometown, and I passed a girl that wouldn't give me the time of day in high school. And she was unemployed, had several kids from a couple different dads, and was on drugs. Now, part of me wanted to say, ha, look at how the tides have turned. But I couldn't even bring myself to do that because as I thought about it, I just had nothing but sympathy. It was just such a dramatic change. Her parents had spent all their money on clothes when they couldn't really afford it so that she could be popular in school in that little situation. So she ruled the world at that time, but outside of the world, she had problems outside of that high school world. And that's when I want to talk to the people that are being bullied. Guys, it's bigger and it's better than just high school. You need to see the light at the end of the tunnel. Talk to a kid that has health issues or something that they're really struggling with. Harness that positivity and see the light. Don't just accept that you're getting bullied. Talk to your parents. Talk to school administrators. Talk to other people about it. Be vocal. If you're thinking about hurting yourself or others, please be vocal. It's so important. And for God's sake, if you cannot get your parents or your school administrators to do anything, please use me as a last resort. I don't like getting in family matters, and it's not my place, but if it's to that point, please let me know, because I will step in. I get hundreds of messages a day, not hundreds, but about 100 in between Facebook, YouTube, email. But if I see your message, I will try to help you, okay? But please work through your schools and your parents first. But there's a light at the end of the tunnel. You need to buckle down and persevere through that. Handle it as much as you can. Talk to the people you can, but persevere. Because it's just high school. Once high school's over, things get way better. Okay? High school is not your world. We lost Alexander Fry almost 2 years ago, I believe. Maybe it was a year ago and some change. He wasn't even 14 years old. Now, if Alexander Fry was an adult right now, he would look back and say it wasn't worth taking his own life because of this. Because he missed out on 50 or 60 or 70, maybe even 80 years of life because of some bully that got to him. And by hurting yourself or others, you're letting those bullies win. Do not do that. letting them get to you gives them pleasure. Obviously, like I said, statistics show that they may have psychological problems and they may not succeed. So live to see that day when you are on the other side and you're succeeding in life and they're not, because chances are that's what's going to happen. So proceed through school, buckle down, do what you can do. Obviously use the issues or the avenues you have to talk to parents and administrators, but do the best you can while you can. The light is at the end of the tunnel. Now, does it magically disappear at graduation? No, but I'm telling you what, the workplace has way more strict rules than the school place, and that's kind of sad. Why is it we can sue McDonald's for giving us hot coffee and we burn our lips on it, but people cannot sue schools for having the bullying problem they have and not addressing it? Those days are coming to an end. Lawsuits are being filed, people are being held accountable. So if you're a bully, stop doing it, because you'll be held accountable. Or your parents will be held accountable and liable for thousands of dollars. And then your life is really over. Because if you're my kid and you're a bully, I will hold you accountable. So parents need to step up as well. Alright guys, that's about it I've got for you. I just want you to know that there is light at the end of the tunnel for the people that are being bullied, and for those of you that are bullies, time is ticking. There are things working against you. There have always been things working against you, but more than ever, in the history of this judicial system, you will be held accountable for your actions. I do not like to see my young viewers harassed over just stupidity, when if anybody should understand them, it's their Railfan community. If anybody should understand them, it's their modeling community. Okay? So I will do whatever I can. If this video only gets a third of the views that other videos gets, fine. But if you're watching this video, spread it around, because I think this message needs to be spread. And not for the purpose of a view counter, but for the purpose of people to get it through their minds, get it through their skulls, that this needs to stop. Thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you next time right here on my channel. Take care.